Hey guys! Alright, so I'm going to make this super quick. We're going to make some watercolor paints with food coloring, okay? It's not paint, so don't get that confused. I'm just using that because we're going to use it for our picture. But first we've got to make our colors. So this is the same Dollar Tree box, $1 of red, blue, green, and yellow assorted food color that I used for egg tempera. I like trying to find projects where I can use our supplies multiple times. We get a lot out of these food coloring bottles because it takes such a little bit to make color. Okay, so I'm going to use a tablespoon cup for putting water in these cups so that I have the same amount of water in each one. And that's going to matter for our color mixing because if I put more water in my red than I did in my purple where I'm mixing two colors, then it's not going to look right, okay? So here's what I've done on here is I have first labeled how many drops I'm going to use for this. Now here's why these are not all the same, okay? So Miss H, why didn't you not put 4 drops for everything? Well, food coloring is interesting. You guys remember when I talked about paint mixing, that we start with the lightest color. And I talked about why we did that because yellow, our lightest color yellow, it was the lightest, but it has, and I talked about this with the paint, it has the lowest density pigment properties. It's a lot to ingest all in one sentence. It's a lot of words. But so what do I mean by that? Well, if you think of I use this in class. I said that the blue pigment is like a really, really, really big kid on the playground, okay? Big guy. He's the big guy in the group. And red is kind of like the medium guy. He is not the smallest, not the biggest, but he's probably considered bigger than average, but he's still about average. Yellow's the tiny guy. That's the shrimp on the playground. Well, why does that matter? Well, blue is probably going to be the bully on the playground because blue pigments are so big and dense that they take over when you mix them with color. Excuse me, sorry about the phone call. But why does that matter? Because if I started with blue and I was trying to make green, we went over this in color class, but this is for the parents that are probably helping you and we're not sitting in color class with you. Remember, I had to start with yellow because it was going to take less blue to create the green when I started with yellow. When I started with color mixing with you guys, I told you the reason that getting good at color mixing really helps you out as an artist, here's a big reason, it saves you so much money on supplies. Because if I'm wasting a bunch of supplies, like there was a lot of students during color mixing that this was brand new information for them. So if I had to be super honest, they were kind of wasting paint. But as we continue to progress in color mixing and you guys heard it more and more and more, if I would have shown you how much paint I was using in the beginning of the course to where we stopped before spring break, it was mind-blowing how much paint I was saving because I had taught you guys how to mix color properly. I was able to get you guys most days. Some days you guys kind of wanted to destroy the paint, and that's okay. Some days I feel like that too. But most days I was able to use the same palettes all day. Even in my kindergarten classes, my students were doing such a good job of cleaning their brushes, making sure to dry them off, not mixing colors in their palette. I was so impressed with you guys. So we're going to go over this enough of that, enough of the gushing. Let's go over this. So I've written the drops here, okay? 4 drops for red. Yellow has 6 drops. Blue has 3 drops. That is because food coloring, okay? I'm going to hold these 2 bottles up together, all right? So you can see already that yellow, if you could see what I'm seeing right now, I can see through the yellow bottle. I cannot see through the red bottle. That's just the nature of the pigments, okay? Yellow does not have as dense of a pigment as red. That's why I put more yellow in the cup, okay? So I'm going to add my water here, okay? And I'm going to pick these up because I don't want to make a mess. Let me see if I can't put this water in a place where you can all see it. Okay, so I'm just going to get my tablespoon of water. There's my red. Tablespoon of water. There's my yellow. Tablespoon of water. There's my blue. Now, you'll notice that in that food coloring pack, there was a 4th one, green. A lot of times in paint sets, I've also talked about this, so I'll just touch on it very briefly. A lot of time when you buy paint sets for acrylics, oils, watercolors, for the advanced artists, they pack them in green, yellow, blue, black, white, let me start over. Red, yellow, blue, black, white, and then green. Green seems to be the color that they want to add in there that they feel like is that 6th color that you need. I would challenge that, but that's just because I'm a very experienced color mixer, okay? But for the sake of time, we're not going to touch on that right now. So green is usually going to be included in any paint pack that you get. Same with food coloring, okay? So now, I'm going to show you what it looks like when I used 4 drops of green here, okay? So I've got green. Okay, I'm going to set this to the side. I'm not going to use this. Now, I've written down here what I want you to add for your color drops, okay? So I am going to first start with yellow here and orange. So it's 1, 2, 3 yellows. Over here I need 4 yellows. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I suppose a lot of you remember when we did our color wheel, I had us start with the lightest color. We painted all the squares that needed yellow and then we put it away. We didn't need it anymore. Now I'm going to go over here to orange. I need 2 reds. 1, 2. Come on. Over here for purple, I need 3 reds. 1, 2, 3. Now you don't need to do this like I'm doing it. Be careful with your drops, because if you squeeze too hard, 2 drops will come out when you intended only 1 to come out. So please be careful if you want to do this like I've done it. Guys, there's no right or wrong way to do this. If you don't end up with some perfect palette of 6 food color paint, whatever we want to call them, it is okay, guys. It's not a big deal, okay? But there are some of you that really enjoy learning this process of color mixing, okay? So as you can see, my blue just took away those yellows. He said, let me at them, okay? So I needed 2 blues in this one. As you can see already, blue consumed those yellows. You saw how fast that happened? Now over here, I need 1, 2. And also be careful with the blue because it is a heavier pigment. It will come out of the dropper faster. If you notice, each of these drops, they were coming out at a different speed. I was squeezing it pretty much the same on each one, so please be careful with blue because it will come out pretty fast, okay? So now I'm going to add my tablespoon of water here to my orange. Now it looks a lot more red than yellow. I'm going to add just a little bit more water to it. Even looking on my camera, it looks pretty orange. I'm not going to add any more yellow, but I may warn you to say maybe you only need 1 drop of red. Since we're already rolling on this camera, well, we're just going to keep rolling. Now I'm going to add a little bit more water to my green so that you can see that that's the green I created. This is the green out of the box. So, pretty similar, okay? I can tell that the green that I created is slightly more blue than the green that came out of the box. So this is starting to creep over into our tertiary color blue-green. That's okay, we can use it, not a big deal. And then I'm going to add tablespoon. I'm actually going to add 2 tablespoons into the purple. Now here's why. Because it's food coloring that we're using, guys, this purple is going to look very, very dark. You're not really going to have a way to know if this has worked well unless you use, say, some white piece of paper to absorb it, to see it. So I would recommend, say, like a little corner of some paper towel, okay, where you could dip this in and see what color is coming out. That is a pretty dark purple, okay? But we're gonna keep it. It's not gonna be a big deal for what we're gonna do, okay? So now I've written down here, just so we can see it, for all my friends that are saying, uh-oh, Miss H, those look like number bonds. Yup. Hello, math. I've told you so many times in class, and I know this was the shell shocker of the, I'm knocking things down, of the year, to understand that math is more art than anything, okay? So art has so much math in it, and color mixing is a huge part of that, okay? So I've got the number bonds written down here for our drops. So if I want 5 orange drops, I will say you could use 1 and 4, okay? So I'll even write that right here. Yellow and blue, I'm going to say 4 or 5, 2 or 1, okay? So 6 drops here. And then purple, I'm going to say, I'm actually gonna erase this. I want you to, and I apologize, we're doing this live. We're learning, it's a learning process, okay? So if I want 5 drops, I'm gonna tell you to do 1 blue, and I'm gonna tell you to do 4 red, okay? Let me skip that step of you having to try and fix the purple if you don't like the color, okay? So orange, 5 drops, green, 6 drops, purple, 5 drops. For the orange, you could do 2 or 1. With, and the yellow, 3 or 4, okay? So these two go together. So I need 5 total, so it's not 2 or 4, it's 2 or 3, okay? Or it's 1 and 4 to get 5. It's got to equal 5, okay? So our number bond, it's got to be a combination that equals 5. Green, 6 drops here, okay? 6 drops. Let me get that out of the way. So 4 and 2, or 5 and 1. Can't do 4 and 1 or 5 and 2 because that does not equal 6. 4 or 4 plus, oh, golly. Hey, y'all, it's Monday. We're waking up. Here we go. Okay, so 4 plus 2, 5 plus 1. Okay, it's got to equal 6. Purple, 5 drops. Okay, that's what we're shooting for. So down here, I've given you one option. Okay, 1 plus 4. Okay, so remember, it's got to equal. So not 5 and 2, not 4 and 1, okay? Even though that would make a pretty green. But, okay, let's stick with this so that you have a unified pigment distribution with our food coloring. All right? So keep watching because we're moving to the next step with making our beautiful salt glue picture.